always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to accompany a particular skill set. And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. Someone once said, "He who works with his hands is a laborer. He who works with his hands and his head is an artisan. But he who works with his hands, his head, and his heart is an artist." This hour, the skills of lovers and other strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Phil Collins and Take Me Home. Alannah Myles with Black Velvet and a powerful song. Nikki Yanofsky and I Believe. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. I know some listeners to this podcast will download the show while they work. I'd be interested in your comments about this next thought. Clarence Francis from For Executives Only, published by Darnell, wrote, and I quote, "You can buy a person's time. You can buy his physical presence in a given place. You can even buy a measured number of his skilled muscular motions per hour. But you cannot buy enthusiasm. You cannot buy initiative. You cannot buy the devotion of hearts, minds, and souls. You have to earn those things." Unquote. I wonder how many executives and employers really understand that. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Linda Ronstadt and Blue Bayou and Dido and Thank You. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. This is simply called Skill. It was written by David Hope. See how a simple lump of clay under his skilled command awakes to a graceful symmetry beneath the potter's hand. Unquote. Skill by David Hope. In this excerpt from the 1990 edition of the Friendship Book of Francis Gay, published by D.C. Thompson and Company, he writes, and I quote, "Henry Moore, the sculptor who died in 1986 at the age of 88, once said that he preferred to sit on a pebble beach rather than on golden sands. For him, each pebble had its own texture, its own feel, and individual shape. Some were more exciting than others, he said, but all were interesting and equally worthy of studying. The great sculptor must have treated people in much the same way. When he died, he was mourned, not only as a talented artist, but as a man generous with his praise for the work of others less able than himself. Many remembered him as a man who was always busy, yet always found time to encourage others. Few of us will ever, like him, change stones into works of art. But we can all be skilled in the art of living." End quote. An excerpt from the 1990 edition of the Friendship Book of Francis Gay, published by D.C. Thompson and Company. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Marc Cohn, with the things we've handed down. Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World, and Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. The poet Pam Brown was quoted by Carmen Renee Barry and Lynn Barrington in the book Daddies and Daughters, published by Simon & Schuster, as saying, and I quote, "No one knows the true worth of a man but his family. The dreary man drowsing, drop-jawed in the commuter train, the office bore, the taciturn associate, may be the pivot of a family's life, welcomed with hugs, told the day's news, asked for advice. No longer Mr. B, but Dad. No longer a non-entity, but a man possessed of wisdom and skills, courageous and capable, patient and kind, respected and loved." Unquote, the words of Pam Brown. And those are some of the best skills to have. I'm Don Jackson. From iTunes and CHFI.com. I hope Wednesday, March 10th, 2010 was a good day for you. That's Daniel Powter and Al Stewart's Time Passages. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Confucius said, "Every piece of marble has a statue in it waiting to be released by a man of sufficient skill to chip away the unnecessary parts. Just as the sculptor is to marble, so is education to the soul. It releases it, for only educated men are free men. You cannot create a statue by smashing the marble with a hammer, and you cannot by force of arms release the spirit or the soul of man." And Kagawa wrote, "As the sculptor devotes himself to wood and stone, I would devote myself to my soul." Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Rod Stewart, Soul on Soul, and Van Morrison, Into the Mystic. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Whether you're perfecting your skills at hockey, baseball, tennis, soccer, or just the game of life, keep this in mind. It's important to always play fair, to have respect for the other players. La Rochefoucauld wrote, "Tricks and treachery are merely proof of lack of skill." Unquote. It doesn't take skill to play that kind of game. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.